Yo, if I had 100 sheep and one of them got away, I would leave the 99 and go find that one. That's right. Look from the locks and jaws of Satan, I come creating, penetrating with force from the land of the lost. I'm coming like Muhammad got the devil on the run. Rising like the sun, keep your eyes on the one. Look on base, here to bring forth a reborn nation, up against the norm, creating a new formation. This foundation that I be standing on is firm. Look, y'all, we must learn, oh, as a people we gon' burn in the fire. Let's join hands with the Messiah, the Lamb be Elijah. For real, I ain't no liar, my deepest desire be to resurrect the carcass. Breathe like venom, then squeeze out all the venom with momentum and skill. We'll kill Satan at will. You and I be connected, protected by Ezekiel's will for real. I can sense a mental explosion on the move as God's chosen. Proceeding in motion, we become, yes, indeed, the parts of forming. Running about her, cause Babylon is falling, living all in the midst of devilish anguish. His aim is to kill us all with this language. He's the mischief maker, plus he's wicked by nature, the modern mind shaper. So hey, will Jacob wake up the lion? He's in Judah, sleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease. Look out, I see a lion. Where he's in Judah, sleep. I wonder who will wake him, bring him to his feet. Speak now, or forever hold your peace. The violence of this beast must cease.
Tribute to an unknown soldier, the author of eternity, in an allegorical setting. For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action, at the risk of his own life, above and beyond the normal call of duty, somewhere in the Middle East, near a place called Calvary, a soldier stepped out on the battlefield of time, traveling from time into eternity, fighting with the sword called justice. And his burden soldiers were sent out to seek the unknown, and were met by wise men who had been thoroughly trained in all manner of military maneuvers, such as espionage, sabotage, and subversion, thereby being able to break every code of the enemy and maintain the secrecy of the mission. These wise men later operated under a shadow commander, known at the time as a little child, whose mission was codenamed Everlasting Life. On the battlefield of time, he worked his way through the ranks, say 42 generations, but was falsely accused and abused by the enemy. But because of his importunity, he continued to fight with the sword of justice. He told the commanding officer of the enemy forces how his life and that of his comrades could be saved. But they laughed with his sword and said, "We have power to heal and that live." He allowed the enemy to carry him away captive, but he kept faith in his fellow comrades. Though captured and laughed to scorn, he never relinquished his weapons. When he arrived at the spot called the place of skull, he stood bravely though surrounded by the enemy, and thought of the training he had received from his commanding officer, and he was not afraid. The enemy placed him on a platform and took his garments, which consisted of a royal robe given him by his commanding officer. By mere strength, bravery, and some unknown ghostly song, he withstood the pain of nails being driven into his flesh. He was looked down on as a soldier, accused of being a devil and degraded as a man. Yet he never deserted nor surrendered to the enemy. As he was suffering and dying, he yelled out to his father, "Forgive them." Then he bowed his head and gave up the ghost and said it was finished. The man in charge of the execution wrote a title above his head in 3 different languages: Hebrew, Greek, and Latin, which may have been classified at the time, but has since been downgraded for everyone that will accept it. This great soldier was rejected, tortured, betrayed, lied on, brought to trial without a hearing, and sentenced to death for a crime he did not commit. Willingly he gave his life for the wrongs of the world, which was above and beyond the normal call of duty. But he never received a Medal of Honor. He was wounded many times, but he never received the Purple Heart. He was the greatest pilot the world has ever known. He even threw himself into his father's house and sat down on the right hand of the master power. But he never received the flying cross. He was placed in a borrowed tomb and arose on the third day. But we have omitted his name from among the world renowned upon this planet. He was a doctor. We refused to make an appointment with him. He was a king, but instead of us giving him a crown of gold, we gave him a crown of thorns. He came through 42 generations to abolish the sins of the world. Yet he was rejected and despised by members of his own. As he hung on the platform of time, we should have placed spices and gifts in his hand. Instead, we drove nails through his hand. He walked more than 72 miles to preach the gospel. And instead of us giving him a new pair of shoes, we drove spikes through his feet. He was a soldier that loved mankind. After his death, we should have considered a heart transplant. Instead, we pierced him through his heart. This great soldier was not an electric clock, but on the battlefield he kept his time. He was not a nuclear bomb, but his power was devastating. He was not the ringleader of Watergate, but he spoke of a heavenly gate. He was not an MX nor a cruise missile, but his love has cruised the world over. He was not sought out by the vampire world, yet his blood was good to the last drop. This brave, outstanding soldier lived as an angel, died as a thief, and rose to be the mayor of mayors, governor of governors, president of presidents, master of masters, king of kings, and will be crowned Lord of all. For his gallantry and heroic action, above and beyond the normal call of duty, we never presented him with the Medal of Honor, nor the Flying Cross, not even a service medal. But today we as a people should recognize him as a King of kings, Master of masters, supreme and everlasting comrade, beyond the wisest man's comprehension, and truly the Son of God. For his ways were not our ways, and his thoughts were not our thoughts. No, there is no metal nor precious stone we can give a soldier of such royal value, but we can pay tribute by living holy before him, which is our reasonable service. No end, but one soon to come.
Why are we called Negroes? Why are we spiritually deaf, dumb, and blind? Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition? stripped of our names, our language, our culture, our country, our God, and our religion. All of our religious training has been gotten through the preacher. And he has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Heaven and hell are just two conditions of life, and they're both right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards our research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe on the level of the beast, eating the bark of trees and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then following many of his explorers, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. And from the Mideast, he took barrels of oil untold, deceiving, raping, robbing, and murdering everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East by the Nile River, living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So my friend, it's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. It's easy to tell, white man heaven is a black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and firewater. Tricks and lies he stole America. The original owner of this nation is put up on a reservation. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell that a white man heaven is a black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man. So he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. So my friend, it's easy to tell that a white man heaven is a black man hell.